So hey everybody, hope your Sunday morning is going smoothly. Would like to welcome you to this virtual Sunday school time. We are wrapping up the rotation that the kids have been in, and we've been studying David and Goliath. And over the weeks we've talked about how David was chosen to be king when he was still a really little kid, like maybe 11, 12 years old. A prophet came and went through all his older brothers and found they were lacking, and God told the prophet to go to David and anoint him as the future king of Israel. Imagine that as like an 11, 12-year-old being chosen, that you were going to be this next king. You were going to lead God's people. And we learned that David was chosen because of who he was on the inside, not because of how he looked or his size, but because he sought to be faithful to God. And that leads us into the whole account of David and Goliath. David wasn't even supposed to be at the battle. David was just bringing some food for his brothers to eat. And he shows up, and these battle lines are drawn between the Israelites and the Philistines. And the Philistines have this giant that is just taunting them, saying, come on, send your best guy out here. If I lose, then the Philistines will surrender. If you lose, then Israel surrenders. And the Israelites are just quaking in their camp. They're terrified of this giant. Nobody wants to go up against him. And David's like, what are you scared for? It's not you fighting, it's God. Well, this ticked David's brothers off, and they told him to be quiet. But David wasn't going to be quiet because he trusted in God. See, that was the exact reason why God had chosen David to be his next king, because David was going to trust in God no matter what. Well, King Saul heard that there was finally somebody willing to stand up to this giant, and he had David brought before him. And he saw this little pipsqueak of a kid, probably about the size of a middle schooler by this point in time, saying, I'll fight the giant. The king's like, whatever. And David said, you know, with the Lord with me, I'm going to win. And it's not going to be me that wins, it's going to be God. The king said, okay, you can go out there and do it. And maybe the king was trying to use David as a distraction, because King Saul at this point in time wasn't really putting a lot of faith in God anymore. He had kind of turned away from God and was kind of going a little bit crazy along the way. He tried to get David to wear his armor, and David's like, I can't wear this armor, it doesn't fit. It would be like if one of you guys tried to run a race in your mom or dad's shoes. It's kind of funny to put your mom and dad's shoes on, but you're not going to be able to run with those things on. You might be able to go canoeing, but you're not going to be able to run. So David said, no, I'm just going to take my sling, and he went and he chose a couple smooth rocks out of the river, and he went out, and the giant was just making fun of this little pipsqueak, this little snot-nosed kid that was coming out to beat him up. And David just had his rock and his sling. And as Goliath approached him, David was like, pow! Popped Goliath right in the head and knocked him out. David won. But it wasn't David who won, it was Goliath who won. Now, why do we have this account of David and Goliath in the Bible? How does that help us in our walk with God? Well, a big part of it is God is looking for who we are. Not how we look, not how we appear, but who our character is. Who are we striving to be on the inside? Now, David was a sinner. David made a lot of mistakes in his life. But he trusted in God and he turned to God. And the interesting difference between David and King Saul was when King Saul got caught sinning against God, he made excuses as to why it really wasn't sin. But you see, David, when David got caught sinning, he always turned to God and begged for forgiveness and mercy. And as a result, God made a promise to David. Not only that David would be king, but God would bless his line. And eventually Jesus came from David's line. David's great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great- save everybody from their sins. And when we look at New Testament lessons that talk about what God looks at when he's looking at a person, it's not what's on the outside. It's our character. It's who we are on the inside. Do we trust in God? And during this time when we're off school and we're scared about this sickness and there's other things that are coming into play, who are we turning to, or what are we turning to? See, if we can learn anything from David's example, no matter what comes up, when we put our faith in God, we're going to be able to overcome anything. Now, your mom and dad have some Bible passages to read with you and some questions about those Bible passages to kind of help you get into God's Word a little bit more today. I hope you have fun. I hope you have a good discussion. If you have any questions about those Bible readings that aren't on there, go ahead and ask your mom and dad. And mom and dad, if they ask you a question you don't know, go ahead and text me. My phone will be on. I'll try to make sure that my ringer's on so I can respond to anything that's coming in. But this is not something that you have to do. It's not supposed to be a chore, but enjoy spending some time together talking about God's Word, talking about this guy, David, and what God has done in David's life. There's an additional activity that your parents may or may not want to do with you. I'll leave that as a choice to them and a surprise with them, and I won't give anything away. I pray that you guys have a great week. I pray that you get fed by being in God's Word, and I pray that God keeps you safe spiritually so that you can turn to Him no matter what giants you are facing. Have a blessed week. Bye.